Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we will be looking at ethical issues in psychological research, which you need to know for AQA A-level psychology in the subtopic of research methods. I hope you enjoy this video and find it helpful. Let's get started. Ethics refers to the correct rules of conduct and moral principles necessary when carrying out research, as researchers have a responsibility to protect participants from harm and a duty to respect their rights and dignity. In psychological studies, ethical issues are questions of what is morally right and wrong. The British Psychological Society, BPS, in Britain and the American Psychological Association, APA, in America issue a code of ethics in psychology that provides ethical guidelines for conducting research. An ethically conducted study will protect the research participants' health and safety, dignity, privacy and rights, protect the reputation of psychology, and the psychologists themselves. The most important ethical issues include lack of informed consent, lack of protection from physical and psychological harm, lack of privacy and confidentiality, and deception. Studies must now undergo an extensive review by an institutional review board, US, or ethics committee, UK, before they are implemented. All UK research requires ethical approval by one or more of the following. Department Ethics Committee, December for most routine research. Institutional Ethics Committee, IEC for non-routine research. External Ethics Committee, EEC for research that is externally regulated, e.g. NHS research. Informed consent. Before a study begins, a researcher must gain consent that is informed, voluntary, and rational without undue coercion by providing relevant details to the participants that allow them to make an informed decision by outlining what the research is about, the purpose, procedures, foreseeable risks and discomforts, e.g. psychological and physical injury, benefits, potential therapeutic misconceptions about experimental treatments and the right to refusal, confidentiality, and withdrawal without any consequences or loss of benefits, the length of time the participant is expected to participate, who to contact for answers to questions or in the event of an injury or emergency. Participants must be allowed to ask any questions, and methods must be described to minimize risks like emotional distress. An adult, 18 years plus, with capacity to rationally weigh a decision can provide consent parents, and there are special considerations when obtaining consent from vulnerable populations such as psychiatric patients, intellectually disabled persons, and children and adolescents, where legal guardians can provide consent. Investigators should tailor the consent language and the process appropriately for the study population. Solutions. Consent forms. Participants should be provided with all the details of the study so they can make an informed decision as to whether they wish to participate. Information that should be provided includes the risks and expected benefits, potential therapeutic misconceptions about experimental treatments, allowing participants to ask questions, and describing methods to minimize risks like emotional distress. Participants should be asked for their written consent on more than one occasion. Prior general consent. When participants are asked to give permission take part in multiple different studies whereby one of them involves deception, effectively consenting to the deception. Presumptive consent. When a researcher does not inform the participants in the study about the true aim but does gather opinions from a group similar to the target population of participants about how they would feel participating in the study. If they think the research is acceptable, then it can be assumed that the real participants will also find the study acceptable. Retrospective consent. When participants are asked for their consent after they have participated in the study. Lack of protection from psychological and physical harm. Researchers must ensure that those participating in the research do not experience any form of physical or psychological harm or distress, e.g. embarrassment or fear that is greater than that of ordinary everyday life, increased anger levels, reduced expectations, feeling that are worse than when they started the study. The procedures of the study must not be intrusive, invasive, or offensive. The researcher must also ensure that if vulnerable groups are used, e.g. elderly, disabled or children, they receive special care. Solutions. Counseling. After conducting a study, which could cause psychological or physical harm, Participants should be provided with the opportunity to receive counseling to reduce the negative impact of the study. Reassurance. Participants should be reassured that their behavior and results from the study was normal and they should not worry. Cost-benefit analysis. Before a study is conducted, a cost-benefit analysis should be carried out by the Ethics Committee, whereby the positives and negatives of the study are weighed up to determine whether the study is ethical. If the costs outweigh the potential benefits, then the study would be classed as unethical. But if the potential benefits outweigh the costs and could offer some benefit to the wider society, even if there is a risk that ethical issues will arise or the research is socially sensitive, then there is some leeway for the study to be conducted. The physical or psychological harm caused in the experiment should not be more than what a participant would experience in everyday ordinary life. Lack of privacy and confidentiality. Researchers must ensure that participants' confidentiality is protected by clearly describing to participants the limits of their confidentiality and the methods used to protect their privacy in order to demonstrate respect, ensure honest participation and prevent harm, e.g. legal issues. Solutions. Anonymity. Participants and the data gained from them must be kept anonymous. Participants' names should not be used in the lab report, instead pseudonyms, initials or numbers should be used to maintain anonymity when referring to the participants. Information that can lead to identification should be minimized, e.g. researchers should consider whether birthdates are necessary or just ages. Individual responses should not be identifiable and should not be accessible to anyone other than the researchers and their agents. Secure measures. Research methodologies such as data encryption, coding systems, and secure storage should be used to ensure anonymity. As with Internet research, threats like third-party data access exist. These measures should be explained to participants. Right to withdraw. Participants should be made aware that they are able to leave the study and stop participating at any time. They should also be allowed to withdraw their data. They should be told at the start of the study that they have the right to withdraw and should not be pressured to continue if they do not want to continue, even if they have consented at the beginning and were aware of the aim at the start. Deception. Researchers should not purposely mislead participants or withhold information that could influence their participation decision. Types of deception can include deliberate misleading, e.g. using confederates, staged manipulations in field settings and deceptive instructions, deception by omission, e.g. failing to disclose full information about the study, or creating ambiguity. Solutions. Debriefing. After a study has been conducted, a researcher should immediately inform participants of the true aim and purpose of the study, provide an opportunity to ask questions, which must be answered honestly, discuss the procedure and the findings, address any harm caused by participation, reassure participants that their behavior and performance is normal, and provide participants with the right to withdraw their data from the study. Right to withdraw. Participants should be made aware that they are able to leave the study and stop participating at any time. They should also be allowed to withdraw their data. They should be told at the start of the study that they have the right to withdraw and should not be pressured to continue if they do not want to continue, even if they have consented at the beginning and were aware of the aim at the start. Cost-benefit analysis. Before a study is conducted, a cost-benefit analysis should be carried out by the Ethics Committee, whereby the positives and negatives of the study are weighed up to determine whether the study is ethical. If the costs outweigh the potential benefits, then the study would be classed as unethical. But if the potential benefits outweigh the costs and could offer some benefit to the wider society, even if there is a risk that ethical issues will arise or the research is socially sensitive, then there is some leeway for the study to be conducted. Deception must have strong scientific justification, and non-deceptive alternatives should not be feasible. Consent forms and briefings. Dear participant, you are volunteering to take part in a psychological research study about aim and purpose of the study. In this study, you will, procedure, condition participants will be participating in and any other conditions, how often, when. The study will last for, how long, all foreseeable risks and discomforts, any benefits of the research. There is no pressure for you to consent and your participation in this study is voluntary. You do have the right to withdraw your participation from the research study at any time without explanation, and that refusal to participate will not result in any consequences or any loss of benefits that you are otherwise entitled to receive. You also have the right to ask that any data you have supplied to be withdrawn. If you choose to participate in this study, the data that is collected from you will be kept confidential and your participation will be kept anonymous. You will also have the right to and should feel free to ask any questions about the study at any time. You will receive a full debrief at the end of the study. Please sign and date below if you agree to consent to participate in this study. Debriefing. Dear participant, you have just taken part in a psychological research study about aim and purpose of the study. In this study, you had to procedure, condition participants participated in and any other conditions, how often, when. The study lasted for how long. All foreseeable risks and discomforts, any benefits of the research. Information if deception was involved. Although you have participated in this study, you do have the right to withdraw your data without any explanation, and that refusal to participate will not result in any consequences or any loss of benefits that you otherwise were entitled to receive. If you choose to continue to participate in this study, the data that has been collected from you will be kept confidential and your participation will be kept anonymous. You have the right to ask any questions or following the ending of this study. Thank you for participating. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Bye.